10 minutes past 7, your time expires.
Noted, Chair. Sabona, General.
Sawubona, honorable member.
You have made, there's a statement that you have made today before this ad hoc committee, which left me with many concerns. You said that you made an assumption that there might be an attempt to arrest you because you do not support a particular perspective towards the National Conference of the ANC. You said there's an individual that you don't support for being a deputy president or the president of the ANC. Now, should we be worried, General, as citizens and as members of parliament, that state institutions are weaponized to circle political scores, and in particular towards ANC conferences? I'm not saying this because I'm offensive or I'm obsessed with the ANC, but you have mentioned the name of the ANC, hence I'm making a reference to it. Should we be worried that state institutions get weaponized to circle political scores towards ANC conferences?
Chairperson, I have no evidence that this person was talking the truth, but he did talk about it. But my worry would be why that statement from Pandey would be sent to this person. That gives some kind of weight that these things might happen. So if it is so that the state apparatus are utilized to settle political score, that is a danger that should be really dealt with and make sure that is eradicated. It cannot be.
Yeah, maybe let me put it like this, General, because the fortunate part here is that I'm not talking to a person with no experience of how the justice cluster operates. We have massive experience. You've been a national commissioner, a minister, and so on and so forth. Do you have experience of state apparatus being misused to fight political battles? During your term, have you ever experienced that?
No.
We have never experienced.
No.
Now, what inspires an assumption that it can happen against you? From what angle are you drawing that inference? If it has never happened, if you have no experience of it?
Well, nothing inspires me except that it was said so. The question, is it truth or not? But the said, I'm going to arrest umngani wakho on this statement, and indeed this statement is sent to that person. So it comes from there. It does not come from there. So I'm not, nothing that inspires me to believe that way is because of the statement. Whether the statement is true or not, then is another case, but the statement is said to me.
So the ANC is going to its national conference, I think in 2026, right? 2027. So we should not have any concern that state institution, or there is a high possibility of weaponizing state institutions to settle political scores. So we must allay our fears. That is impossible based on the experience that you have.
No.
Can you give that assurance to the committee?
The experiences are time bound. I'm not going to give you the assurance about the time that I won't be there. I can give you the assurance about the time that I've been there. Okay. So in future, I wouldn't say no. But previously, I would say it did not happen.
It has never happened.
I'm not sure about never. But it has not happened that I know of as I was there.
No, but you were in a position to see it if it happened, when it happened.
Not at all.
Because you were a minister, you were a national commissioner. So you can easily detect when such is prevalent.
I told you, I don't know if you were here, honorable members, that I was taped I was a national commissioner, what I was taped from December until March. I didn't know. It was illegally done until one member of the counterintelligence came to report that such thing happened. So I would not guarantee that I will know everything, including those that touch me, as I'm saying to you. I didn't know that I was taped by the people that I work with. So it's not guaranteed that I will know everything.
You have a meeting with Matlala for the first time. You don't know him. He is introduced to you by this guy, and he tells you his problems. And he asks for your interventions. And you acted as per his request. Am I putting it correctly?
Yes.
Yeah. And then he tells you that they are trying to persuade him to lie under oath against Khumalo. As a national commissioner, you know that lying under oath is perjury. It's a criminal offense.
Yes.
You know, General. Now, it means this guy, Sibia, was attempting to commit a criminal offense. Am I correct? Had he succeeded in his attempts to influence Matlala to lie about the jewelry that was stolen by the police, he would have committed an offense. In fact, both of them, because Matlala would have signed the affidavit under the influence of Sibia. So that would be perjury. Had Sibia succeeded.
If that is true, happened that way, I would concur, I would agree with you.
Don't you think, General, that you became irresponsible and reckless by making an intervention on a matter that required the police to act? Because my view, if you can ask me to advise you after getting that instruction or that request, I would say tell Matlala to report the matter to the police so that the police can investigate. And indirectly, by your intervention, you helped Sibia to escape, because had you allowed Sibia to do whatever he wanted to do and trap him, maybe he will be behind bars today for trying to break the law. So you made a political intervention in a legal matter which required an investigation by the police. Don't you think you were a bit irresponsible and reckless?
Two things on my mind, and I've mentioned it before, honorable member, that I could not have allowed Khumalo to be made a scapegoat. Second thing, I did say to Matlala must go and speak to Khumalo. You say I should have told him to go and speak to the police. I did tell him to go and speak to Khumalo. What I've said here, I don't know if they did speak, but I did tell him to go and speak to Khumalo. Khumalo is a police, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm saying to report a matter. Remember, it involved Khumalo.
But Khumalo,
I'm saying, General, to advise him to report or to open a case so that the police can investigate. When you tell Khumalo, it involved him. So he couldn't open a case. To say, Matlala, as a former minister of police and as a former national commissioner, I know the law. I think this is the best way we can approach it. Now, you invited your participation, unnecessarily so, by making political interventions in a matter that required the attention of the police. Today, if what you are saying is anything to go by, we are sitting with a person who has not been punished for attempting to commit a criminal offense, Sibia. He has never accounted for what he attempted to do because of your political intervention that you did. What is your comment on that?
My comment is the same answer that I did tell Matlala to go and speak to Khumalo. Khumalo is the police. So Khumalo would advise, but I did advise. I didn't say that he must go and speak to the magistrate who. I said go and speak to Khumalo, who is the police. And Khumalo would have then synthesized what to do with that information. But my advice was speak to Khumalo, who happens to be police, a very senior police.
Now, General, after having this meeting with Matlala, the meeting was in December, right? Am I correct? The first meeting?
Yeah, was in December.
It was in December. Then in January, Matlala offers accommodation to you. Between that meeting in January, were you communicating with Matlala, either telephonically or physically? Have you ever met between the first meeting and the date on which you slept in his apartment?
Yes, we were communicating, but the communication was coming from Mabonga. These snapshots, or whatever shots, were coming to me from Mabonga that this what has been sent either by the minister or Mohotsi. I guess most will come from Mohotsi. And that the one that will make me even communicate further is the one that I know of Pandey, where I realize that this thing is getting escalated to the level that I need to sit down and discuss it.
So during that period, you were talking about the same matter that he introduced
It would
to
be
you.
that matter and other matters. For instance, the other matter would have been the Sibia and minister having to deal with somebody that has sent somebody to prison now is a good time. Somebody going to the KZN, those would be short snaps that would be sent. That is a communication. Which communication that needs to deal with Khumalo, especially Khumalo and the Mkwanas. So the explanation and the discussion will be around understanding further on those matters.
So when you get there on the date where you were offered accommodation, who do you find there? Was Matlala there in the apartment, or he sent somebody?
It was Mabonga.
It was on the date where you were given accommodation to sleep. So Matlala gave an instruction telephonically that they should let you in, correct?
Telephonical to who?
No, I'm asking, General. I'm not making a statement. That is why I'm saying correct. I want you to correct me, to give me the correct version.
Now I want to know, he gave instruction to who? To me or to the hotel?
To the hotel.
No, I think he sent something, he wrote something.
To the hotel.
To the management, yes.
To the management.
Yeah.
So you didn't see what he wrote to them, the content of the
It
message.
was read here.
Yes.
It's the one that says,
He calls you,
is my friend
he's
and
your-
the business partner, if we could give them the access.
Okay. So you sleep there, and then after sleeping, you slept for 2 days, right?
Yes.
And then you never met him. You left having not met him
On that particular day.
during that particular period.
No, we met because the issue was to speak about these new things, to expand on it. That's why I slept there, because we had a meeting to further explain about these shots that were sent to him.
Yeah. You said, General, the statement that you have made was suggestive of a person who is remorseful for
Person
having
who is
met, remorseful for having met Matlala, you said you wish awuzange uhlangane naye. That's what you said. I think you have put it in Zulu. You said you wish awuzange uhlangane naye.
That comes late when I know who he is.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but initially, when he has not been arrested, when he has all these things, a normal person, no, I don't regret the time. But it was information as we go on to say, it does look like I met the wrong person.
So you meet this person, General, for the first time. He gives you a delicate instruction which involves operations in the police. After that, he offers you accommodation. But still, you don't make a research of who this person is and what are his intentions. So you just...
What information, delicate information? The information is about me.
No, not about you, General. You said this person told you about many things, that he's being used, that there's influence, that he must write an affidavit and lie about Khumalo. That is delicate. That is sensitive.
No, that is first meeting,
Yes,
remember, yes.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying you meet this person. He offers you accommodation. You don't make a research
You
of...
didn't offer me the accommodation.
Not on the
first.
same day, General. I'm saying on the next occasion. On the next occasion in January. You met for the first time in December. He offers you accommodation in January. Correct? I'm asking, you don't even bother to make a research of who this person is and what intentions does he has.
Research for what?
To know the person.
Because it's giving me the accommodation.
So it's enough for you, General, to
I'm
meet-
happy to get the accommodation.
So-
I'm in Pretoria, I'm not going to pay.
Yeah, General, I know it's easy to downplay it, but it's
I'm-
more complex. It's
I'm
more complex than that. So for you, it's easy to meet up with a person for the first time. He discusses sensitive things with you. You don't know that person. You don't ask where he comes from. You don't even bother to drill down his history and his standing in society. You just take instructions and implement them. Because where I'm worried the most here, General, that you are a police officer, even though you're retired. But the skill is still there of a police officer. Now, are you easily accessible like that? That you can just meet a person, take instructions, he offers you accommodation, still you don't bother to drill down the history of this person, their credibility in society, and their standing. Are you easily accessible like that?
Don't mix things. I meet this guy. It gives me information. My worry is Khumalo. So I work on that. But then continues to let me to know things that would be about Khumalo and about me this time. That warrants me knowing the meeting, knowing the issue of me getting involved. Then I go to Pretoria to talk especially about things that are said by me to be arrested. What is that? Can you explain? So I'm in Pretoria. Then I realize that is got the place. Instead of paying and sleeping, I'm offered on this one. So I just do that. It has been the journey from December until January, end of January. I did not see this guy and went to sleep on that thing. And the information that's given to me is information that I use to stop whatever could have to Khumalo, but it moved beyond Khumalo. It came to me to say, by the way, you are not spared yourself in this process.
Yeah, no, General, I think you are not. I'm saying exactly. The sequence of events that we have outlined is exactly what I was saying. And I said to you, where I get worried the most is when you take instructions from a stranger, being a former national commissioner, being a former minister of police, and implement those instructions, because you implemented the request of Matlala. He asked you to intervene and you intervened. And You implemented the instructions of Matlala without even verifying the credibility of Matlala. You relied on a version of one person of Matlala. That is what I'm saying. Before we even go to January, when you went to his accommodation.
Chairperson, maybe I'm not understanding, I'm not making you understand well. The angle for me has got nothing to do with the comfort of Matlala. The angle for me here is that Khumalo is in danger of being lured and made to go to court, not for genuine reason, but to make sure that they grind him. And all. So there where I come from the angle of Khumalo. If Matlala benefits for that, good luck for him. But I did not go there and work things on Matlala. I went there, hence I spoke to Khumalo, and I spoke to Matlala to speak to Khumalo, so that Khumalo is not put in this problem of going genuinely to court and only to find that he's going to court to be lured and taken on the other side. So my angle is a safety and protection of Khumalo, honorable member.
Yeah, but General, had Matlala not approached you, you were not going to go to Khumalo. You went to Khumalo because Matlala asked you to do so.
He didn't ask me to go to Khumalo. He told me about the issues that are going to happen. And then I say it will be better if speak to Khumalo and then this thing doesn't go to court, because it's not the question of going to court, it's a question of Khumalo being sold out.
Okay. When President Zuma was the president of South Africa, when you were the national commissioner, did you...
Honorable Malema.
No, let me understand this. So, Mabonga calls you minister, and then you find Matlala, and then Matlala gives you information about Khumalo. Then you say to Matlala, you have to talk to Khumalo about this information, which is potentially going to damage him or destroy him. Did you, out of that conversation, did you go and talk to Khumalo also, that I came across this kind of information?
I did speak to Khumalo.
So you called a meeting and met Khumalo?
Khumalo and I, we met, two of us.
Yes.
Yes. And
out of that information of Matlala?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Can I proceed, Chair? General, when President Zuma was the president of South Africa, you were the national commissioner, right? Did you have access to him, even outside your working hours?
Yes, I did.
Now, you are saying Balula and the former minister, Natim Tetwa, may his soul rest in peace, came to you to give you an instruction which you never agreed with, that you must get rid of Tau. And you did not implement that. You took Tau from one position to another.
Shabalala.
And they said, Shabalala, and they said to you, they are acting on President Zuma's instructions. Did you approach President Zuma about that? Did you tell him that Deputy Minister Mbalula and Minister Natim Tetwa have approached me? They are saying this is an instruction we have given them, and they are saying I must implement it. And these are my reservations about what you are saying, if you said it. Did you make that attempt?
No, I did not approach President Zuma. After I've been approached and told by the ministry, both the minister and the deputy, I really realized that it was serious, but I realized that it was wrong, could not be implemented.
Chair, I don't know if Honorable Skosana wants to speak. His hand is up. So you acted on a hearsay because at the end of the day you implemented the instruction but not as is. You did something else. So you acted on a hearsay.
What is a hearsay?
A hearsay is being told that so and so said this
Told
without
by who?
by the person who came to you.
Who is that person?
You say Mbalula came to you, Natim Tetwa came to you. They said
what is their position?
they are minister, deputy
Yes,
minister.
deputy minister. There is no hearsay from
No,
the minister and deputy.
but you will have to lower your temperature down, General.
Like yours too.
Yeah, no,
Yours
it's not
too.
up.
Both of us.
No,
we
no,
must-
it's
we
not
must lower
up.
it.
You'll have to lower it down. Anger is
If it
not
goes
going to
up,
help.
it goes up.
No.
If it goes down, it goes down.
Anger is not going to help any
General-
of us. Yeah.
General Cele, we welcome you here as our guest. Honorable Nomvalo, we have a duty to be hospitable to our guests. So what South Africans want to see between us and our guests is a conducive environment that helps us to resolve the problems that we have. At all times, let's try to avoid altercations between Parliament and the guests that we have invited here. If you can calm your nerves and continue, especially that you come from one province, show us the way. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Minister, General, you acted on what you were told is an instruction by Mbalula and Natim Tetwa. You acted on the basis that you were told that it's Zuma's instruction, and you never verified if indeed President Zuma said that.
It would be good if you give the titles to Mbalula and Mteto.
Yes. Minister Mbalula and Deputy Minister Mbalula and Minister Mtetwa.
Yes.
Yes.
Not just Mbalula or Mteto somewhere.
Yes, I've
It's-
corrected it.
Is a minister, Mteto, Minister of Police,
Yes.
and there's Deputy Minister of Police. They are speaking to the DG of the department that they are sent by the president. Well, for me, that will be enough to believe that those people can come with a hearsay, both of them at the same time. So indeed, as my ministers, and I'm their DG, I had to listen to that.
Okay. If I can summarize to you the reasons for the decision of the minister, the suspended Minister of Police, Minister Senzo Mchunu, for disbanding the political killings task team. The first reason is that A, he had constitutional powers to do so. That is his version. B, he had budgetary concerns. C, he received a number of complaints from members of the public. D, which is the last one, there was a work study which introduced a new organogram, which was signed by the commissioner, by the national commissioner, this year in May. Now, let's go to the third concern of of complaints from members of the public. During your time as a minister, did you ever receive any complaint from members of the public?
Yes.
Can you disclose the nature of complaints? Can I give you one of the complaints that he highlighted before this committee? He highlighted two complaints. The one has been deliberated on. A complaint from Meriti Haas and a complaint from Patricia Mashale. Now, for Patricia Mashale, he attached Facebook posts by Patricia Mashale, in which Patricia Mashale was making accusations about the abuse of money in the secret account of crime intelligence. He was accusing many people, accusing Khumalo, General Khumalo, accusing General Masemula. Did you ever receive a complaint of that nature?
No, I have not. But if I had, I would take that information to the IGI for verification. I would not just take it from the face value. To start with, Marshall has got nothing to do in understanding and knowing the things of, is doing a criminal activity herself. That he gets that information. But from my side, I would have gone to the IGI rather than taken that from the face value. And there's been the IGI here. On other matters you have raised, Honorable Member, you raised that it was within his constitution. I'm not a constitutional lawyer.
No, I'm sorry for interjecting you. I want us to deal with one reason, and then we'll go to the other when we're done with this one. Can you share the nature of complaints that you received? Because you said you also received some complaints.
But Chair, the Honorable Member raises 4 points, but he wants me to deal with one, when he raised them simultaneously. Can he raise them one and I respond one? If he raises 4, I'll respond to 4. Simple.
Yes, General. No,
Yes.
we will go to others, don't worry. For now, we're dealing with complaints from the members of the public. I want us to deal with that aspect adequately. Then from that one, we'll go to others. I'm not going to deny you an opportunity to give an explanation. With regards to complaints from members of the public, did you ever receive, can you share the nature? Because I want to identify if there are any similarities between the complaints that he received and the complaints that you received.
Okay, I'll do that. But Chair, that was not the first point. The first point is that it was within his constitution. So I don't know whether to start where you started or I start second.
Chair, may you assist me? I'm saying to the General, I was making a summary of the grounds for the minister to disband. And then I made a request to him that let's first deal with one aspect of the grounds of the minister. We will go to others. We will go to the constitutionality, to the work study. But I want us to finish this one first, then we move to others, General. We will go to the constitutionality, don't worry. Can I repeat the question?
No.
You got it?
I had it very well.
Okay.
I have received the complaints from the members of the community. One was that the police have not acted as the case has been reported to them. They can see that a person that has committed the crime is still roaming around. So they would phone and say, police are not arresting the particular person that is suspected to be. That is one of the complaints which have received from the members of public.
Okay. Then let's move to another one. We will attend to all of them, General. Another one is that there was a work study which was established in 2019, if my memory serves me well, and later signed by General Masemula in 2025, this year, May. Now, this is the logic of the minister. The minister says, the work study made the PKTT to cease to exist because of its scope of framework. It had a unit which was a permanent structure which was dealing with murder and robbery. So that unit, by its nature and design, nullified the PKTT because had they coexisted, there was going to be a duplication of responsibilities and tasks. Does that make sense to you? I'm asking based on your experience, and I think you can enlighten us more.
You say that is logic. That is illogical logic. Not a logic. Task teams are done outside the structure. Task team, honorable member, are done outside the structure. They are issue-based. And usually they are directed by two things. They are directed by time frame and the accomplishment of that particular thing that has happened. There are many, I don't have long list of task teams. I can mention few I remember. One of them is this one that we talk about, the famous one. The other one is a taxi violence task team. I'm sure you've heard of it. The other one will be task team deal with nicotines. There's task team dealing with illegal. If there is a long list, why all these are not put under the structure? Structure that is created all the time, all the history. Created when there is an issue to be dealt with, finish it and go home, based on two things, time and accomplishment. So I would say this logic is illogical.
Okay. Let's move to a third reason. The minister said he had budgetary concerns. Did you share the same sentiments when you were still there as a minister? Did you ever have any budgetary concern regarding the finances of the PKTT?
No doubt that the budgetary concerns were not there. They are always there, with other several task teams and projects. I have said here, the most expensive one is Operation Valumkot. Police alone on that one were budgeted 1.2 billion. That money came from Kara. I've explained what Kara is. The other one is Operation Mkotwemvubu, up there. The other one is this one. The other one is the Western Cape one, Operation Thunder, which ended up as an Operation Lockdown. So they are all expensive, and indeed it would have helped if there is any cheaper way. But they are also measured with the life and loss of life. Their mission is to stop people dying and create the stability. Indeed, they pay money for that. At no time, personally, I hope you'll support me on that, that will begin to measure the cost vis-a-vis the loss of life.
Okay, now let's move to the last one, General, the one that you have been yearning for, of the Constitution. But I want to put it this way, General. In your view, is establishing and disbanding a task team a policing policy issue or an operational issue, in your understanding? I'm trying to simplify it, General, so that you don't accuse me of asking you questions which require a response of an expert. In your understanding, based on the experience that you have.
Is the same question or same roundup on the constitutional matter?
It's the same question, but put in a different way.
Okay. Can I ask the portion of constitution?
Yes, you can.
Well, I'm not a constitutional court, so
Yeah.
I would not know if the matter is constitutional or not constitutional. That needs to be tested, and there are mechanisms of testing that. It can't just be me, and I guess it can't just be you to say is your constitutional, unless you are advised, legal and constitutional, so to say, here is an advice in my hand. It would have been good for the minister to say, I disband it because I've been constitutionally advised, and here is a constitutional advice from me. So I would not argue things that I do not know, and most of us, we don't know, including the minister on the constitutionality of the matter.
Honorable Sangone.
Sorry, Chair, I just wanted to get your attention, but maybe when the general finishes, I just wanted to get clarity on that.
The second one, Honorable Member, if this is a policy matter, this is a matter called by the President to the ministers. And the ministers call on their operators, which are DGs and all that. So it's both. So if anybody needs to take decision about it, he needs to walk all the path of both policy and operations, since it was taken that way. I have said the way that we have come down, let's use it to go up. It cannot be that it's taken by president to ministers, to DGs, to the team. And when the team goes, you just go to one place and you say, here it is. That would be wrong. What I would not argue here, I would not say is illegal or unlawful. Those that are better placed to say so, they will. But for me, it's unprocedural and wrong.
Okay, when the PKTT was established, oh, okay, no, you can come in.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you can rule me out of order because maybe I'm not seeking clarity. I'm saying you rule me out of order if I am, because now that I think about it, maybe I'm not seeking clarity, I'm following up. But I was going to ask on the question that Honorable Nomvalo asked about policy versus operational matters. The General went to a great deal of length to explain why the minister should have consulted IMC or JCPS cluster. Now, if he were minister, would he, if he wanted to close the PKTT, could he have, by consulting IMC and JCPS, or even seeking permission for the president, does he think it would have been in his authority to do that? Thanks, Chair.
General, what steps would you have followed if you wanted to dissolve the PKTT?
Let me start with the contradiction. If I'm not mistaken, the statement has been made that since 2022 there was no interministerial. I think I've heard that. If there is no interministerial, then there is no chair. What authority do you have to dismantle things that don't exist as you argue? That's the first one. But on this one, this structure is not done by one department, which you are member of it. Basically, there were 4 core departments. Others would come. I remember that Home Affairs would come, attend, and all that kind of stuff. But there were 4 that were core. That was Justice, which was together with the Correctional Service. I know now they are splitted, which means now we would call both Justice and Correctional Service. Secondly was Defense. Then was the State Security. For me, if it's not clear, unless you say there is a legal advice that has been given to you that there is no interministerial. If it is not, I'm sure it will be a respect to go to the colleagues to say, there is this thing. I'm not sure what next to do. I'm part of you. I'm one of you. I'm not thee. I'm not thee. I'm one of you. This interministerial, there is the Minister of Justice, there is Minister of Defense, there is Minister of State Security. Invite them. And they say, look, we don't know what to do about this matter. Maybe a person, if you all don't know, some will say we continue as it happened. I did say, Honorable Member, there was precedence that 2018, this thing came 2018. After election 2019, there was continuity after that. Maybe if then you are not sure, you say, somebody here came with idea of the interministerial. Let's ask that person. It happens to be a president. Maybe even you go to the president. Can we put this matter of disbandment to the structure that we know exists with the JCPS cluster, where all these ministers, they sit on it. So some kind of consultation, some kind of walking the path should have happened, Honorable Chair. Should have.
Can I proceed, Chair? Okay. Now, there is a task team, General, that was established in terms of the evidence that has been adduced here, which was established before the 2018 task team. Do you have knowledge of that task team? Which was in existence before the one that was produced and that the one that was established by the IMC?
Which IMC?
The Interministerial Committee.
No, there was no task team established by interministerial.
No.
It was established by the provincial commissioner.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, General.
Okay.
My question is, the 2018 task team was established by the IMC. Before that one, there was a task team that was in existence. I don't know who established it. Now, the evidence that was put before us is that that task team was dismantled because it was not functional. It was not efficient. It was not producing any tangible results. The result of which they established this new task team, which is multidisciplinary in its formation, which consisted of all the stakeholders that we have mentioned. Now, what criteria was used to identify police officers in this new, the 2018 task team?
You say this was dismantled. Let me add, after it has been met by the IMC, it was not dismantled telephonically or through the letter. It was met and discussed and assessed, and everybody agreed that it has produced zero work. I think you see that difference, Honorable Member, of meeting by the IMC now. And the IMC, we need to change the lane here. One thing that was identified in the meeting, because we had information out of the meeting, was that there were many members of the task team, which happened to be the police alone. It was not multidisciplinary. There were many members that were consumed on the violence that was going on. Therefore, the problem was not going to be resolved. So those members had to be taken out and bring the members coming from the different provinces that have no roots and understanding of the people that were there. That was criteria, because the major problem was that those members were themselves involved. Hence, at the later stage, quite several of the members there were arrested because they were part of problem.
Okay.
But that information derived from the meeting rather than writing the letter. IMC could have written the letter to say we're dismantling you, but did not do so. It went there, met those people and discussed.
So is there any founding document that was establishing this task team, which was giving guidance on how it must operate, or it was a resolution that was made followed by a media statement? Is there any founding document?
Interministerial called their departments, and then their departments had to send their people. The police have to send their persons. From the side of the police, yes, there is a document establishing that, Honorable Member.
Okay.
There is a note establishing it.
Okay. Now, the NPA was accounting where? Was accounting to the NPA
No,
for the work of the PKTT.
was accounting to interministerial.
Okay.
They could account separately, but procedurally, they had, because their minister was sitting in the interministerial. All those departments, there was this team of DGs, honorable member, that were there, who would then come, and then the ministers come and listen to them as they account. I would not deny that maybe the prosecutors might have briefed the head of or DG. I would not. But framework was that they report to the interministerial.
Okay, so in the media statement that you made on the, let me see, on the 3rd of August 2018, you made these remarks, open quote, as a way of progress, we have taken a decision to change the members of the task team that were responsible for the investigations into the killings. The new project team has 118 new members plus 8 members from the previous task team. So you took 8 from the previous one. And why did you take them? They were more efficient than others. Is that a correct assumption?
After the discussion, that's what we discovered. After the discussion, I hope the discussion really helped.
Yeah. Now, there are cases which were withdrawn, General. There are cases, I remember at some point, the case of Makaka, the arrests which were made in 2017, if my memory serves me well, between 2017 and 2018. Now, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made an averment here that in the previous task team, they identified some elements of criminality. Ipso facto, they decided to establish this new one. Now, was there any collaboration in terms of the assessment that you made between the police officers and the NPA members, the prosecutors, which led to the withdrawal of cases in court? You would remember how the first arrest happened in Cindy Somakaka case. The accused were arrested. I think they spent about a week or 2 weeks in jail in Pietermaritzburg. Later charges were withdrawn. Was that as a consequence of an unethical collaboration between the police and the prosecution? Or it was just a genuine withdrawal, there was no sufficient evidence?
I have no authority to say it was so, but they might have suspicions of other things, like the prosecutors and magistrates. Remember, this team was given 4 months, and it would be extended maybe another 3 months. What was key and happening is that the case will be open, honorable member, and postponed and adjourned to the immediate after the expiry of the term of the team, which means if it expires, would have gone to ordinary kind of investigation that was there. So that kind of thing, it did tell us that there's some collaboration here. There are some methodologies, some methods that are used to tire this team, because we know that after 3 months it's going. So it will be 2 days after the team is expected to go that then you can come to court. On that score then, that's, by the way, another thing that informed the decision of the DGs to say we're not going to give the timeline now of when it ends, so that they deal with the matters that are there. But also it was raised with the leadership of the NPA that we suspect that there is a problem in terms of prosecutors and the magistrate. Evidence on that, I don't. But evidence, the thing that I can put on the table is that there is that timing of this team postponement and coming to it. So what happened to those suspects you talk about? One of them, I think, is dead. May his soul rest in peace too. Was withdrawn, but most of us were very much happy. We're very much unhappy about that withdrawal. So when then you are briefed is that there is insufficient information. When the information is sufficient, it will be reinstated. So you can't do anything about that.
Okay. So my assumption is that you decided to establish a new modus operandi, this multidisciplinary approach, because you wanted all the components of the value chain of the justice cluster to be involved, so that there will be no complaint. There's a general complaint by the police that we arrest people and they get bail on the following day. You have also made a mention of that. So you brought all these role players together so that there can be a link and a proper handover to say police who are here, prosecution who are here, the prosecutor will account for progress, judges are here, and so on and so forth. So did that kind of arrangement make any significant impact or any significant progress as compared to the previous one, the previous arrangement?
Huge impact, huge, very big. Maybe when you see the statistics and what happened, it was not just big, it was huge.
Okay. Now, General, do you have a friend in a taxi industry? A friend or friends?
In the taxi industry,
Yes.
a friend.
Yeah.
I don't have friends.
So you don't have a friend who is a taxi boss?
No.
Do you have people that you speak with at a personal level in a taxi industry?
What do you mean personal level? Hey, how are you?
I mean people that you don't speak about business or work.
No, in the taxi industry, most people that I speak, it comes from their business, especially on violence. And there are quite several people that I would speak to them in terms of trying to resolve problems. One of them would be Mandla Kaba, one of them would be Mswazi, one of them would be Ujo. I've recently spoken to Ujo, and there will be others. And by the way, it's not new. The many of them that I've spoken to them, but it will be more on relation to the work they do.
Okay, so was this PKTT, because I'm trying to establish here whether a narrative that was put out there that the PKTT was no longer effective was correct or not. Was this PKTT able to go to the root cause of political killings in KZN? And can I share you a perspective? I had also put the same perspective to General Masemola. That my observation, General, is that because of a decline of a profit margin in a taxi industry, the former taxi bosses have crossed the floor. They have crossed from taxi businesses to tenders. And they are anchors in a tendering system, are councillors or are politicians. Now, to safeguard their interests, they make sure that their people are always in power because it's their people who give jobs to them. And they do anything in their power, including using the same modus operandi that they used while they were at the helm of a taxi industry. They use the same modus operandi of eliminating people who appear to be a stumbling block to their business interests. So I think largely that is what contributes to a scourge of political killings. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with my perspective?
No, I don't.
Are you willing to go further, General, or I must go to another?
Well, the question is, do I agree? I say I don't.
Okay, do you have any perspective which opposes mine?
Chairperson, the taxi industry problem is old. It's very old. I would suspect that it might be older than you, Honorable Member. I don't know how old, but to me, we don't look that old. Especially under the special dispensation. I think there was much. This perspective, if you come, does not come from now, if it is there. There was an industry that was not regulated from the very word go. I don't know where were you when taxis were valiants. Do you know the car called a Valiant? Yeah, okay. Honorable Skosana would know that one. So there where they started with I'm a Valiant, I'm a four-seater and all that kind of thing. So unregulated. So it was an easy kind of business where mostly black people could come because others, there were no opportunities. And indeed, it was allowed to go unregulated and then became the survivor of the fittest some time ago, not now, some time ago. By the way, there have been commissions after commissions working on this industry. What is a problem on it? But at the later stage, there was the entrance of big criminality on it. One of it, people that have stolen the money, especially cash heist, they came in this industry, Honorable Member. Some of them, they came here because it's easy to wash your money. You work with cash and every day. In the early years, I think 96, I remember Ndebele was an MSc for transport. We tried to work on the program called recapitalization. That recap, you had 6 forms to sign. 2 of them was blue and yellow. I can't remember which was yellow. But the other one was say, write your criminal records. And the other one was say, write your SARS history. And those, as they fill those forms, the filling will end there. They would not come on it because they wanted to continue with cash, and the cash helps to money laundering, clean, and all that. So those elements, they came on it. So indeed, I would half agree with you that there have been floor crossing to tenders with some of them. But what we would not agree is that this criminality entering this industry is new. It has been evolving. Taxi, cash heist, robberies, tenders, politicians coming on. It has been evolving all the time.
At the center of these political killings is a fight for tenders. Is that correct? At the center, people are not necessarily fighting to be councillors but they are fighting for tenders.
That's
Is
a
that a
big-
correct narrative?
That's a big statement. I'll have to be given that information. I don't have that information. I don't have that information that people die for tenders. In KZN, political killings come from very far, come as en masse, where it would be political, though the political issue was a front, it was a system that was killing people. There were no tenders there. There were no tenders. When people were dying in numbers, at 1 year, honorable member, there are 52 weeks in the year. 52 weeks. I spent 47 weeks burying people dying in numbers. So, absolutely, that was even before the election, so there were no tenders. It could have been evolved, and then you say it will be tenders. But the matter, the matter of Shoba and the people that were killed on the Christmas day, there were no tenders for that. They were not killed for tenders.
Okay, not that. Thanks, Makai. I think this is my second last question. General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said when he appeared before this committee that he thinks General Khumalo has been a target for a very long time in the SAPS. At some point, there was an attempt to assassinate him in an airport, and there was an attempt to unfairly link him with a murder of Sindiso Makaka. Do you agree with those sentiments?
That he has been a target?
Yes.
I agree.
Now, I made a follow-up to that question that is he in possession of evidence which suggests that he has never been involved in a murder of Sindiso Makaka? And he said yes. And I know that during your time as a minister, they were also accounting to you for progress that they've made in some cases. And the case of Sindiso Makaka was one of the most popular cases.
I don't have that information.
You don't have that information. Thank you very much. The chair has indicated that I'm running out of time. Thank you, Chair.
You know, Magaka was a good friend of mine.
And they refuse you going to the funeral.
They refused me to bury him, but I pay for school fees of his children now.
That's good of you. I was at the funeral, though I was not in government then.
It is his time.
Thank you, Chair. Baba Ndosi.
Yebo.
Niyaphila Nkosi yami.
Siyaphila lo ngenhloniphekile lo
Siyaphila.
leshamthetho